Hello everyone. Let us continue with the Java Selenium Module 1. So now we are going to look at control statements. Let us get started with IfElse statement. To understand this, let me go to my drawing board and explain this diagram in front of you on the screen. Now let us understand how it works. In the case of IfElse, if is a keyword and else is a keyword in Java. Now initially a condition check is done. So if one is a statement or rather a keyword if, now it checks for a condition in step 2, as you can see. If condition is true, then it follows the path of 3a and comes inside this block here. And it executes all the statement which is in this block here. If condition is false, it will go to the else block, which is shown by the step 3b, and it comes inside this block at number 5 here, and it will execute this block. So this is how IfElse statement works in Java. Now let us understand this with a code with the help of Eclipse. So let's write a code for IfElse statement. I'll right click on this package here. I'll say new. I'll say class, and I'll create a file with name IfElse. And I will also click here to generate main method automatically. I'll say finish. I'll delete this line. I don't need this line for now. So let me resize this window. Now what I'll do is I will say int age equals to 10, for example. Now I will say if age is greater than equal to 18, I'll open bracket and close the bracket. I'll say system.out.println, and I'll say you are allowed to vote. So I'll say you are allowed vote. I'll say else, open bracket, close bracket. I'll again say system.out.println. I'll copy this and I'll put it here. I'm going to change my message. I'll say wait until you are 18 years old. Now, initially if age is, I have made it 10, so this condition is false. Therefore, it will come in else block and it will execute this piece of code. So let's run this program. I'll right click on the file. I'll say run as Java application, and it is coming wait until you're 18 years old. Now if I change it to 18 or any value above 18, as you can see, now this condition becomes true. Therefore, it will display this value to me. So I'll right click on the file again. I'll say run as, I'll say Java application, and here we can see that it executes this block which is inside if, which is you are allowed to vote. Now let's take this code back to my drawing board and understand it with the diagram which I was trying to explain a little while earlier. So I will paste this code here. I'll compare these both with each other. So first of all, let me remove this so that it is easy for us to understand. Okay, now as you can see, if is a keyword, this is a keyword, this is a condition check happening, as you can see here. If condition is true, which is path 3a, it will come inside this block here, which is this block, right? So this maps to this block. And if the condition is false, it will go to this path 3b, which is this block here, which maps to this block here, as you can see. So basically, this is how the if-else works in Java programming language. Now coming back to our slides, let us understand how for loop works in Java. Before we even look at this explanation of the diagram in front of you, let me go to my Eclipse and give you a use case scenario, how and where we want to use for loop. So I will go back here. I will create a file. So I'll right click here. I'll say new class. I'll say for loop. And I will auto generate main method. I'll say finish. I will delete this line of code. Okay, now let's say I ask you to display system.out.println, or rather I ask you to display hello world using system.out.println. So you will say system.out.print. Let me put ln here and I'll say hello world, right? Now, if you right click and run this program, we all know that it will display hello world to me, right? This is very obvious. Now, if I ask you to display this 5 times, you might copy and paste it 3, 4, 5. And if you run it, you will get the display message 5 times. So far, so good. Now, there's a problem here. The problem is that the first problem is the code size has increased. Code size has increased. One. And second problem, which is in fact more important, I feel, that if I ask you to make a change in the message hello world, you will have to go and make changes in all 5 of them. So the likelihood of you doing problem or introducing a problem in the messages can increase. I mean, this is a simple example, but in complex scenarios, this likelihood can increase if you have to change in all the 5 places, considering it is a difficult message to display or something on the similar lines. So I'm going to call it that code is difficult to maintain, right? Difficult to maintain because you have to make changes in different places for the same message that you want to display. Now let's go back to my slides and look at what is a for loop and how we can solve this problem. Now let me go back to my drawing board where I will explain this. So how the for loop works is that for is a keyword and the loop starts with a bracket and ends with a bracket, which is a curly bracket. In the step 1, there is an initialization involved. In the step 2, there is a condition check involved. If condition is true, it goes to 3a and it goes inside this block here and it will execute the for loop. After that, in the step 5, it will come back. It will do an updation, which I will explain in some time with an example. Now, after updation is done, again condition check happens and it will keep going inside the for loop or this block here as long as the condition is true. Once the condition is false, it will come out of this for loop. Now let me explain this with an example in Eclipse. So let me go back to my Eclipse. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to comment this with a multi-line comment. If you add / with star opening and star / this is a multi-line comment in Java and this is a single line comment. Comment is anything which is not executed by Java compiler. Now let me introduce for loop. So I will say for int I equal to 0, then I'll say I less than 5, then I'll say I plus plus, open bracket, close bracket, and I'll go ahead and paste this message, right? Let me put it here. So let's understand this, but before we run it, I will take this code on my drawing board and compare it with the flow and explain it, and then we'll run the program. So let me put it here for you and let's put it next to each other and compare. Now, as you can see, we have for as a keyword here. So let me remove all this first so that it is easy to understand. The for is a keyword, right? Now there is an initialization happening, which happens only once. So I'm saying int I equal to 0. Then I check for a condition. Is I, which is initially 0, less than 5? Yes. Yes. So it will come inside the for loop. So after this condition check is true, it will come inside this and display hello world for me. And then it will go back in the step 5 and it will come to updation. So here it is increment of I. So I will become, I initially was 0. Now it becomes 1. After that, again the condition check happens. So is 1 less than 5? Yes. It will again go inside the loop and display hello world. And this will keep on happening until I becomes 5. So when I equals to 5, then it will check is if 5 is less than 5. No, it is not. Therefore, it will take this route and come out of the loop. And that is how this for loop will get terminated, or this will complete the execution. So if I run this program, right click, run as Java application, you will see that you have displayed the hello world message 5 times. So the code size has decreased and it is easy to maintain the code as well, meaning that if I ask you to change the message hello world, welcome to Java programming, you can see it is easy to make this change in just one single place, and therefore it is not difficult to maintain the code. I hope the concept of if else and for loop is clear to you. Thank you so much.